You are now locked in and listening to The Issue.
This guy is a franchise quarterback, and no, I don't want to hear any pushback on that.
It feels like a top 10 roster to me. It feels like it can win a championship.
This is The Issue.
Yo, what's up? We are back. It is The Issue, Thursday, May 23rd, episode 228, and it's a good one. So the NFL schedule has been released since we last done one of these episodes, and, you know, that's kind of a good benchmark to start, I guess, solid predictions.
Absolutely.
That are built in thought. I mean, because when we go through the divisional predictions, we go team by team, and we go through their entire schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because then everybody's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, no, it absolutely does matter.
Yeah.
We know who you play. Like, 6 months ago, we know when teams play other teams. And who you have at home and who you have on the road. But now, what's the order to it?
Like, who are you playing on short rest?
Exactly. Who's in prime time? You know, who plays for the Steelers? Who do you have after the Ravens? Because you're going to be beat down after you play the Ravens. Yeah. So,
but a lot of content to go over, nevertheless. So the way we're going to do it, we're going to have Tim's rant to start things off, and it is going to be about the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule. A lot of rumblings in Pittsburgh. We're here to kind of give our take and put some things to rest. Hits and misses to close out the first. And then getting into the second segment, we will have Tua or. So we're going to go through the league and decide which quarterbacks we would choose, you know, Tua or for, I don't know, we'll set a parameter of years. We haven't done so yet, but stick around for the second segment for that. And then we will close the show off with a little discussion on Scottie Scheffler and the entire situation that kind of transpired there. Weird events, and nevertheless interesting to talk about, though.
Could I argue, like, for Scottie personally, one of the best things for him? I feel like he was so boring. Really good, but boring.
I feel like
now that mugshot of him in the orange jumpsuit is forever going to be his legacy.
He was looked over, but at least they say all press is good press. So I guess, you know, anything that gets your name out there. Either way, guys, we appreciate you being here on this fine Thursday. YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Prime Video to watch the show. If you want to listen, you can go over to Apple Podcasts, of course, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app. A plethora of sources to find us. So we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no, everyone's, the NFL's rigged against the Steelers. They don't want to see them succeed. The Jets are on prime time a lot. You know, they must really like the Jets. And, the Jets are in a big market, but the NFL's not rigged. Nobody's rooting against the Steelers. Nobody said, hey, let's stack the end of the season so then they can lose and not be in the playoffs. They're a top 3 to 5 brand in the NFL. The NFL would love for Pittsburgh to be a really good team, a fun story, an interesting story, and a team that pushes ratings and a lot of media attention. The NFL would love that. They would not purposely rig the schedule against the Steelers. And for everybody to say, oh, the schedule's really tough. Pittsburgh had a bottom 10 schedule in terms of strength of schedule for the past 2 seasons. They've had cupcakes the past 2 years compared to other teams. So I don't want to hear it. I really don't. And the early schedule, I could argue, I actually really like it. So obviously, again, you know that you have to play the teams, right? They released this like a year ago. Who do you have at home? Who do you have on the road? Now you finally get to see when do you play them. Who's on the back-to-back? You know, who do you have, after the Ravens, like I said? Who do you have on prime time? Who do you have on short rest? You get the Falcons early. Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles. It's a completely new system that he's learning. You got new players in and out. They have a new coaching staff. That's exactly when you would want to play the Falcons. Same thing with the Broncos. Rookie quarterback, new system, a lot of new guys. Absolutely, you would love to play Bo Nix in the second week of the season. You don't want Bo Nix in week 14 when he's already rolling with Sean Payton. They have camaraderie. You want him early when he is a little bit over his skis like almost all rookie quarterbacks are. Chargers, yeah, that's a tough game. But again, still, new system. You get them early and you get them at home, right? That's a benefit. You go to Indy. Anthony Richardson's coming off an injury. Week 4, that's still pretty early. Don't hate it at all. You know, you get the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, all in the first half of the season. Your toughest game is probably the Cowboys, but you get them at home in prime time. So the first half of the season, I actually really like the schedule. And now everybody's talking about the last half where it goes Ravens, Browns. So it's home against the Ravens, at the Browns, at the Bengals, home against the Browns, at Philly, at Baltimore, home against the Chiefs and Bengals to end it. I 100% agree that's a brutal stretch. That's what? Lamar, Deshaun, Burrow, Deshaun, Hurts, Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow. That's going to suck. I completely agree. But can we not act like it? Can we realize that it really doesn't matter? It really doesn't matter. You know you're going to have to play these teams anyway. If you think they're going to lose to Baltimore, does it really matter if they're going to lose to them in Week 11 or if they're going to lose to them in Week 3? Not really. Not really. And here's what you're hearing. Oh, well, the Steelers finally have a really good roster and a really good quarterback and an awesome offensive coordinator, and the NFL screwing them out of a chance to go to the Super Bowl. If you actually thought they were a Super Bowl team, does it matter who they play when? You know who I have not heard a peep from? Kansas City, San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay, even Buffalo, who I don't view in that same regard, haven't heard a peep. Baltimore, haven't heard anything. Cincinnati, haven't heard a thing. Maybe it's because I don't live in those cities, but I have not heard a thing in terms of national media attention about any of those team schedules. Because they actually truly believe they're a good team and it doesn't matter. If you think you're a Super Bowl team, you're going to have to play almost all of those teams at any point anyway. You're going to have to play the Ravens twice no matter what. You're going to have to play the Browns and Bengals twice no matter what. If you really think you're on their level, you might have to see one of them in the playoffs as well. If you think you're on the Chiefs' level, you're going to have to beat them in the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead anyway. At least you get them at home on Christmas. Right? If you think the Eagles are good, well, what if they get to the Super Bowl? You think you're a Super Bowl caliber team? There's your Super Bowl matchup. Right? Is that too crazy? Well, that's exactly what you're hearing out of Pittsburgh. And it's actually insane. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because here's why it doesn't matter. They're going to go ahead and win 10 games like they always do. And they're going to let you down in the first round of the playoffs like they always do. So what? If their schedule was easy, they win 13 games. And Miami rolls into town. I would 100% lay my house on Miami. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't care who comes into Pittsburgh. I don't care who we go on the road to face in the first round of the playoffs. I am putting lumber on that team. It is not even close because Pittsburgh is going to do what they always do under Tomlin, and they're going to disappoint in the first round of the playoffs, if they even get there. So it doesn't matter how many games they win. I don't care if they're 9-8, 8-9, 10-7, 14-3. It does not matter because they're going to be the same disappointment that they've always been until they make a change in terms of leadership. Do we really think Russ is the magic elixir that's going to make them go to the Super Bowl? Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph got them to the playoffs. I have no doubt Russ can get them to the playoffs. Is he going to actually change anything? Or is it just going to be the same disappointment in round one? Right? The only teams that actually care about their schedule are like Cleveland. And like Detroit used to care when they sucked. And like Houston used to care. And Jacksonville. Do we get the pattern here? Like the Jets care. Right? Like teams that actually don't have standards. Like if the standard for Pittsburgh is that we are now complaining about our schedule because we think that's going to make or break us being successful as a football team, then your standards, you're not focusing on the right thing. The standard is the standard. Well, right now the standard is bitch moaning and complaining about a schedule that you can't do anything about, and that if you truly believe you're good at, you're going to move through it anyway. You're going to move through it anyway. You are only complaining because you know deep down in your heart of hearts, they're not good enough to beat that schedule. They're not actually as good as you think they might be. And that's why you're upset. That's why all those whiny Steelers fans are upset. And I am a Steelers fan. Hence the shirt. But the schedule's the schedule. You got to play it. If you think you're that good, go beat the teams you say you're better than them. Cry me a river.
The thing that blows my mind is, one, what were you expecting? Do you not know that you play in the AFC?
Like, you play in the AFC and the AFC North.
Were you expecting a cakewalk of a schedule? Like, who did you think we were going to play?
Who do you think? Could we argue that the AFC North has all three of the teams are top 12 rosters?
Yeah.
We could argue teams, but rosters. I would say all four of them are top 12 rosters.
Yeah.
So what did you expect? You have 6 tough games right there. Did you expect an easy schedule?
And then you're going to play more in-conference games, and there's not that many teams in the AFC that are bad.
Well, and you knew you had the AFC West as well.
We already knew we had the AFC West. So you know you're going to have to see Mahomes. You know you're going to have to see Herbert.
You know you're going to have Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Yes. We knew these things going in. Yes, the order is important for some teams. But if you actually think that Pittsburgh has Super Bowl standards, then this is not one of the teams that should be caring about this.
Now I will
Again, the Jets should care. Mm-hmm. What were you going to say?
I will say the back half of that schedule is absolutely
No,
brutal.
it sucks.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
But I think
it sucks.
if you're any
But I don't
semblance
think
of
it
a good team, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think it matters as much as people think it matters.
I mean, predicting
Am I
wins and
crazy?
losses, it does. But I mean, we were going to have the Steelers as a 9-10 win team anyways.
Right. Like, I don't think, first of all, look, the order of the schedule matters for a lot of teams, but for most teams, it's, it could affect you plus or minus a game and a half maybe. Right? Like, it's not going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
So if you had this team, these diehard Steelers fans that had this team as a 12-win team, and now you think they're going to be a 10-win team, do you think the outcome of the season actually is any different, though, is my point?
No.
Like, do you, as a 12-win team, do you think they win the first-round playoff game? I would argue no almost right now, without even knowing who they would play, I would argue no. If they're a 10-win team, who are you taking in the playoff game? Not the Steelers.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
you
I'm
make a point.
crazy.
No. I'm right on the page with you. So we're going to move in now, hits and misses on a Thursday.
Hit number one, we just got done talking about it. The NFL schedule release. Actually, check out this clip. It's almost a year ago today. It's like a year ago last week. I said this. When it comes to schedule release, I think the schedule release in the NFL. Look, the NFL is so meticulous in terms of when games are scheduled. Road trips and flying across country. It is so fascinating, and it's so important when you're looking at wins and losses. Right? Look at a team like Pittsburgh, for example. What if they get Baltimore late in the year like they did last year? Well, they could be playing Tyler Huntley and a bunch of practice squad guys. OBJ's been hurt. Rashad Bateman's been hurt before. Zay Flowers in college was hurt a little bit. Lamar hasn't played a full season in a couple years. So it all depends on when they get Baltimore, right? Look at Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, for example. We think Deshaun's going to be better. He's going to eventually get on a roll. But early, could he still be in a little bit of a slump from that year and a half, 2 years off? For sure. If they get, Cleveland a little bit earlier, well then, that's a win probably, right? So the schedule release is very important, especially for young teams like a Green Bay or Jacksonville too. So look at their schedule when it comes out as well. So like you heard there, clearly the NFL schedule matters. Like, it absolutely matters. And that would even bolster my point about all these fans whining about the Steelers schedule being tough. Again, you get Lamar late in the year. Since when has Lamar been healthy for the whole season outside of last year? Last year was his first healthy full season in what? Like 3 years? Deshaun's been banged up. Burrow hasn't finished the season.
No,
so,
it hasn't been good.
Yeah, on paper it looks rough. But what are the odds all those guys stay healthy? You're telling me out of Deshaun, Burrow, and Lamar, none of them are going to miss a game? I have a hard time believing that. So
yeah.
We were right then, we're right now, and we'll see if it plays out. I mean, you heard me say in that clip, like, what if we get, Cleveland early? Deshaun won't be ready yet. Well, you saw in prime time, he vomited all over himself through a touchdown to TJ Watt. Like, So there's some truth to that, and we were right then, and we're hopefully going to be right this year on it.
Absolutely.
Mr. Number One here, and actually you're the one that pointed this out, and I heard a little bit about it. Didn't even think too much about it until you mentioned it. Mike Sullivan's going to coach the U.S. Hockey team in the 2025 Four Nations face-off, and then in 2026 in the Winter Olympics, of course.
So we're going to get
don't know
roughed,
how I
is
feel
what I'm
about it.
hearing.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of him right now. I just think, we've seen him with so much talent. Like, there's no excuse. You have arguably still the best player in hockey. I mean, obviously, Sid is aging.
Top five?
He's top
I think
five.
Top five's fair.
And I think on any given night, he can perform like a number one.
I would agree.
You have that kind of talent. You have Malkin, who, yes, is aging, but still has the experience. He has tons of talent. Throw him in front of the net. He's going to find a goal. You have the wealth of experience from the veterans. You have a ton of youth coming in.
Yeah.
And you can't get it done. So, like, why this selection? Are the other coaches just busy, like, polishing their trophies right now?
I think maybe the argument would be that he's a good hockey coach, but in Pittsburgh, in this situation, in that locker room, maybe his voice has gone stale, so that maybe whoever makes this decision to anoint these coaches or appoint these coaches, I think... I would guess that in their head they think he's a good hockey coach. In the situation he's currently in, just it's not working out. That would be my guess. Now I would disagree. I don't think he's a very good hockey coach right now, but that doesn't mean he can't be. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. But yeah, that's a miss. We're not big Sully supporters here, and well, he gets the job.
Yep.
Hey, number two here, the transfer portal in college football has obviously transformed things, and I don't want to say hesitant on it. I've been very pro player movement. That's fine. Go move. I think it's going to transform the sport. I think if you are not utilizing it, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
But I think also you still have to build your foundation of your program the old-fashioned way. Right? Like everybody, who are the top, transfer portal, recipients? USC and Lincoln Riley, and Colorado and Dion. Well, we saw neither of them were very good last year, right? And that's one of them with Caleb Williams, and Colorado with Shedeur Sanders, who's going to be one of the top picks this coming year, right? So you still have to build a foundation. My point being, though, Dabo Swinney and Clemson have brought in 0 transfers this year. None. And they didn't last year, they didn't the year before, or at least have been towards the bottom in those years. They have not been good, or at least to the Clemson level standard of good over the past couple years. I think there's a very real chance Dabo Swinney is not cut out for the new age college job and the demands of it. Yeah. Is he closer to, at least mentally and his philosophy, to Nick Saban than he is like Lane Kiffin, for example, who's been really big in the transfer portal? Yeah. I think so.
But I do think it's important to have a bit of both, because, like you said, when you have too many transfers, it's hard to build like a culture.
It's
hard to
build
an identity.
Yes.
You need to have those guys that come in, they're there for 4 years, they're there for 5 years, and then you insert little special pieces of talent from the transfer portal into your already established culture. Because it's hard to really care about something and really compete for something when you don't feel it like inside of you.
And also, like, there's very few guys that hit the transfer portal, just like an NFL free agency, that are not there for a reason.
They're not there for the right reason.
Well, my point is, like, everybody that's in the transfer portal has some sort of baggage. Like, what 5-star goes is fantastic, a great guy, great in the locker room, great in the community, really talented, plays his freshman year, shows out, and goes, I'm going to actually transfer.
Yeah,
and you get, like, the best prospect on the market. Like, it's usually...
Rarely happens.
Exactly. Like, that's where I kind of stand on that. It's like, you have to build your foundation and then supplement it with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Miss number 2 here. I always thought NASCAR was like, hey, go get them, aggressive. Well, it is kind of. Stenhouse and Kyle Busch get into it at the All-Star race. The punches are thrown. And then I go on this morning and it says, hey, NASCAR may ban or suspend Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's wild. How can you go ahead and post a video of it? They posted memes of it today.
Like NASCAR itself.
On NASCAR's Instagram.
Yeah. And
then turn around and maybe ban him. How are you going to make money off it, market it, promote it, and then turn around and maybe ban him? I thought NASCAR was better than that. That's my point.
It sucks to see, too, because that's part of NASCAR.
That's why we watch.
Hockey has fighting.
Yes.
Like, it's okay to do it when you're in an ultra-competitive environment and you are an ultra-competitive guy that, by the way, is driving a machine to its absolute limits, 200 miles an hour, and you're within 2 inches of each other on both sides, in front and behind. Like, that is... that's an environment that nobody else knows except for those guys.
Absolutely.
Like, when tempers flare, let the tempers flare. They'll fight it out. They're grown men. They'll be fine.
So I have a solution. Instead of like banning him or suspending him for a race or 2 races, it's not like I care about seeing Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in a race. I just think it's unfair to ban or suspend him.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put him at the end for the next 2 races?
Yeah, he's an automatic start in line.
Like automatically like P36 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, I don't think you should suspend him. Just give him a slight disadvantage. I could argue, though, put Kyle Busch at P35.
Yeah.
Have them race right next to each other to start every race for the next 2 or 3 races.
The viewership would go up.
It'd be super fun. Hit number 3 here. Golf is in shambles, and I've said it ever since the LIV Tour. Golf is not a realistic product in 2024 for the mass viewership. If it's on at a bar, I'll peek at it. I will peek at big storylines. I'll peek at who wins majors. But if you think I'm actually an avid golf fan, you're out of your mind. Let's put it this way. I'd rather go watch TaylorMade's YouTube channel or Bryson DeChambeau's YouTube channel than I would rather watch a major. I'd rather go watch Tommy Fleetwood's stock driver shots, and then his flare driver shots, his high draws.
Something that's like very interesting.
Than I would an actual golf tournament.
Yeah.
And now, of course, you're going to arrest, well, I guess not PGA or not LIV or not the Tour, but you're going to allow your golfer, your number one golfer in the world, to get arrested driving to the major himself in a rental car. Be for real right now.
Yeah. It doesn't look great. And also, just real quick before we get to this next one here, I just think if you're a young golfer coming up now, the PGA is just not an attractive place to be anymore. You have Live Tour, which is offering you insane amounts of money that can't be, like, you can't.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd sell out, I'd take it.
With that.
I'd sell out and I'd take it.
And plus, it's the more fun, kind of more
relaxed
in version of golf too.
I would absolutely sell out and take the money, to be honest with you. Myth number 3 here, the world's gone soft, people. There is actually a real life story out there that says that people are voting and promoting against the NCAA banning trans athletes from women's competition. Can we wake up as a nation? Can we actually wake up? No, you're right. Yeah, the hairy man should absolutely go ahead and jump in the pool with my daughter and destroy all the other women in the pool. Come on. Be for real right now. Yeah. It's got a thingy. Come on. I can see it in the leotard or whatever they wear. The one-piece bikini thing. You can see it. Come on. It's weird.
Gross. It's gross.
It's weird.
It's gross.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not fair. It's not fair. You have 2 options if you are a trans athlete. 1, go pound sand. Or 2, you compete with your actual sex.
Yeah.
You're a dude. Own up to it.
The thing that...
I'm a washed athlete. I own up to it.
Yeah.
All right?
The thing is, like, you can't have that in some sports. Like MMA, you can't have that.
You would absolutely kill somebody.
You can't have that.
Can't have that in football. Well, which I don't know why a woman would want to come play football.
They're just...
You get the point.
Or
a guy going...
But they do, though.
Yeah, they do, but they're not going to make it. Or a guy going to play women's football, I guess. That would be more like it. Or a guy going to play female lacrosse or something that, like, is basically the same rules.
Right.
That would never work.
No.
It never works.
Just accept the scientific facts that are behind it. The difference in biology between the 2 genders. And I don't think that should be a ridiculous thing to say. We have tons and tons of research supporting it, actually.
So
it's just tough to argue, man. They obviously have an advantage. It's not fair. Just from a fairness perspective, it's not right. Do with it what you want with your political views or whatever. I don't subscribe to that, but, you know, in the aspect of fairness, it should not be allowed.
I want to start a little shitstorm in the comments, so please leave your opinion in the comments, especially if you disagree, and I am absolutely interested.
And especially if you see somebody that commented something that you disagree with,
comment back.
Try to start the biggest fight in the comments that you possibly can.
All right, we got to run. Come back next segment for some more sports talk. Welcome back into, as some may say, the number 1 rated podcast for those who like to cut grass. That's true, actually. Those who cut grass like to listen to the podcast, and so we thank you guys for doing so. And whether that be on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio, however you find it and however you consume it, we certainly appreciate it. So thank you very much. You know what I just actually recently started doing?
What?
Listening to music at the range when I go to the golfing range.
Yeah?
To the driving range.
Do you bring your own speaker for that?
No, not a speaker. I just go headphones.
Okay,
I'm respectful of others around me.
That's the question I was going to ask. Like, do other people look upset that you're playing music out loud, but you're not playing it out loud?
No, I just bring headphones.
That's respectful. That's good.
Yeah, it's actually, I like it a lot better. Because it's like, I'm starting to get somewhat good at golf. So, like, it's meaningful practice. I used to go to the driving range just to see how many tanks I could hit.
Yeah.
Now it's, like, meaningful practice. And, like, when I do anything else physically meaningful, I always have music on. When I'm, like, working out or, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I found that to be nice. And especially now that, like, I'm getting better at golf, too. Like, I go in with, like, a purpose now. Like, how you, like, used to, like, attack a batting cage when you were playing baseball. So, like, you come in, like, hit with the 9-iron, and you slowly work your way up all your clubs. Or, like, I start with, like, my lob wedge and then work all the way up. It's nice. It's a nice little routine to get into.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I hope this doesn't get flagged or anything because of the Watt Wrecking Crew shirt.
Yeah, I hope not. For those who don't know, the NFL hates us.
We almost had a class action lawsuit against us, actually, by the NFL.
Is that actually true?
Yes. Did you read the document?
No. I just saw his NFL letterhead. Actually, I thought we were getting offered a sponsorship.
No. Quite the opposite. These were once for sale on the shop, so if you like them enough and we get enough people together, I guess we could do some sort of rendition.
How?
Just screw it.
Okay, I'm with that.
But no, this
I like
was
being a rebel, an outlaw,
this was banned by the
living
NFL.
on the edge.
So yeah,
This and then a couple more, but whatever. Yeah, they just hate us. They don't like us. They don't want to see us winning.
No.
But we digress massively. Let's get back to what our plan is here. We're going to do Tua or the field, if you will. We got 7 quarterbacks. Tua or who would I rather have? Let's put some parameters on it.
Let's go for the next
3 years.
3 years.
I think 3 years is fair.
Like immediate.
Yes.
Who do you want?
Okay, let's do it. Go ahead, give him.
Okay. So would you take Tua or Dak Prescott?
I went back and forth on this one because I think Dak is a slightly more consistent player. I have a larger body of work with Dak, so I know what I'm getting more so than I do with Tua. But I would go Tua. I think right now he's a cheaper quarterback. Once he signs a contract extension, who knows if he's going to be a cheaper quarterback. But I think there's a real possibility Dak on this next contract is going to be making north of $60 million a year. And I think it's reasonable to ask or to have Tua sign a contract that's less than $50 million.
Yeah.
I think you could reasonably get Tua for $40 million, somewhere around the Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins deal. Mm-hmm. And if there was the choice between $60 million for Dak or $42 for Tua, I think I would go Tua.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I was going to mention when we were coming into this too. Contracts matter in this. We are taking
everything
that into
matters.
account.
Everything matters. Absolutely.
Okay, let's go Tua or Russell Wilson.
I would also go Tua. I think right now, from a pure talent standpoint, he's a better quarterback. And then, well, I guess right now the contract is kind of doesn't matter because Denver's paying all that dead cap money, so the Steelers are only paying him like what, $1.2 million. Yeah, so
it's a steal.
But it's just that 1 year that the Steelers have him under contract. So in theory, if somebody wanted to acquire him for the next 2 years of this hypothetical situation, you'd have to sign him to a contract, which he'll probably want a ton of money. So I would go Tua. I think he's a better quarterback, and in the long run, a cheaper, a better asset to have.
Yeah, a better option.
A lot younger too.
Okay, we'll go Tua or Jared Goff.
I'd go Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff's a much better player. He's a bigger, stronger athlete. Tua's had injury concerns, high school, college, and now the pros. So, yeah, Jared Goff. He's the number 1 overall pick for a reason. Dude can sling it. We talked about him. We gave him his flowers last week, so we won't get into it too much. But, yeah, I'd go Goff.
I knew you were excited to talk about him, so I just wanted to kind of
give
you your moment there.
Huge Jared Goff guy.
There you go.
Actually, the only name we didn't put on here that I would have a real toss-up on, and people don't like him either, is Derek Carr.
I thought you were going to say Gardner Minshew.
I mean, Gardner's making, what, $12.5 million?
Yeah. Little honorable mention there. Okay, let's get back on track here. We're going to go Tua or Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is a no-brainer for me. I do worry a little bit with the Achilles. He is 36, but I don't think Kirk is going to fall off a cliff in the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. I think he's still going to be a very consistent, above-average quarterback. He's not great. He's a really good above-average quarterback. I do think they're in the same tier. This one to me was pretty close because of the injury concerns, the salary, the age of Kirk. But I would still go Kirk for the next 3 years. Yeah. If it was like 5 years, I'd probably go Tua. 3 years, I would go Kirk.
Yeah, I would say in the immediate, Kirk is definitely the better option. He has way more experience, wealth of knowledge, and I would just say I feel safer when he has the football. Like
I think that's fair.
I always judge my quarterbacks on how do they make me feel when they have possession of the football and they're in the pocket and I haven't seen. And
you prefer Kirk.
I prefer Kirk.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, the only way I could see this backfiring, now granted, I don't think anybody will dig into the archives, but if Atlanta moves off Kirk for Michael Penix after like a year and he lands in some sort of like bridge role and it's not a very good team and then it's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think from a pure talent standpoint, Kirk's a better quarterback.
Like if Kirk ended up in Tennessee replacing a failed Will Levis.
Yeah, it's not going to go well.
No, yeah.
But on the flip side, if, I don't know. The Raiders make a change. They have good offensive pieces.
They say let's bring in
Vegas,
Kirk. Yeah.
And it's a little bit better.
Yeah. All right, let's go Tua or Kyler Murray.
See, now you would disagree. I would go Kyler all day. To me, they're both small.
I would go Tua.
That's absolute blasphemy. They're both small, right? Why would I not take the guy that can at least move? Tua is a statue, and he's 5'8", right? So I would take Kyler. Yes, I know he's small, but he moves around a ton. He is dynamic. He has traits that you can't find elsewhere. Tua doesn't have anything that you can't find in the 4th round of the next NFL draft. You're telling me, what does Tua do better than Spencer Rattler from a physical standpoint? Maybe
he
accuracy.
Has a lot more wins.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm not saying Spencer Rattler's a better quarterback. My point being is that Kyler is at least otherworldly at something. Tua to me is not, and I think Kyler's a better player.
That's a fair argument. I just don't like the fact that Kyler's like, what, 4'11"? Is that what he is now? 5'1"? Did he grow?
You know what? Now we have to find the comparison.
Did he grow?
I think
he grew this
How tall do you
offseason.
think Tua is?
I bet he's 5'9", 5'10".
We're gonna find out, aren't we? Okay, Tua. It didn't give me. Oh, 6'1". Okay, Tua's 6'1".
That's a tall guy.
So what's Kyler? Kyler's probably what, 5'11"?
5'10".
5'10".
Yeah.
Okay, 3 inches. It's fine. I can live with that.
It's a lot.
Okay. It's like enough inches, right?
it's like enough.
Okay, give me the next one.
Okay. Let's go Tua or Trevor Lawrence.
It's like a ton. It's like a massive difference. I'd go Trevor. Yeah, Trevor's big. Trevor's a big, strong quarterback. 6'5", 6'6", rocket arm. He can move. No, he's not Kyler with the football. He's not Lamar. But he can move, get outside the pocket. He's an accurate quarterback. He has Doug Peterson, which I think he's a really good coach. Not great, but he's a really good coach. They have good offensive pieces. So yeah, I would go Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, we're gonna go Tua or Anthony Richardson.
This is one of my, and this will maybe for this year it may turn out wrong, but I would go Tua, and I'm going to pivot to a less Tua-centric conversation and more into an Anthony Richardson-centric conversation. I'm going to predict he's going to be a bust. I don't see it. I don't see the consistent accuracy. I don't see the consistent footwork. Nothing he does to me is repeatable.
Yeah.
I think he relies too much on his ability to run the football, and clearly that was not the right choice this past year because he was banged up. I can't see him staying healthy for full seasons, or at least even giving me 15 games a season. I can't see him getting re-signed after his rookie contract. I think he is an absolute bust. I would go Tua.
It's just because you have the same frame as Josh Allen does not mean you can run like Josh Allen, okay? Like, let's tap the brakes a little bit there. Just because you're 6'4", like 230, does not mean that you can play that way. You still have to play good, sound, fundamental football, which Josh Allen does.
The only pause I would have is because Anthony Richardson has Shane Steichen, who's a really, really good coach, a quarterback genius.
Yeah.
So that, maybe he ends up succeeding. I think he's going to be a boss.
Mike McDaniel is great, too.
No, I agree. I'm not even in the comparison sense. I'm just talking overall for my big prediction that he's going to be a bust.
Okay. There you go. So do you want to – I'll go back. Do you have them on the list?
I do.
I do.
Okay. I would take Tua over Dak, Tua over Russ. I would take Jared Goff over Tua. I would take Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, and Trevor Lawrence all over Tua. And then I would take Tua over Anthony Richardson. I think he's a more consistent player, a more accurate quarterback.
Perfect.
At the end of the day, I'm big on you got to win from the pocket. Mm-hmm. Hence the Jared Goff rant from last week. Yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and pivot into a little discussion here. We don't talk a ton of golf because I don't watch a ton of golf, and none of you watch a ton of golf either. But there was a story that caught the entire country's, what word am I looking for? Thank you. Good God. Anyway, yes, caught everybody's attention. Scottie Scheffler arrested on his way into Valhalla to play in the tournament. It was on Friday. It was a rough situation because a bystander trying to cross the road got hit by a transit bus and killed. So there was a ton of traffic, ton of backup. It was chaos on the scene. And here's one of my problems with PGA. Or no, well, I guess it wasn't even a PGA event, or just with golf in general. There's no organization. It's an absolute shit show. I don't understand it. Why is Scottie Scheffler driving himself in a rental car through the same gate that all the media people are, all the spectators are, all the shuttle buses are? Why is Scottie Scheffler your number one golfer in the world? Why is he not either being shuttled by a private driver? Order the guy an Uber Black for all I care. Why is he driving himself to the course? That's problem one. Two, why is there not a separate gate for the players? And three, this cop's a jackass. Why are you arresting Scottie Scheffler? Yeah. Are you outside of your mind? Were you born under a rock and then stayed there until this very moment? Like that. Well, he might not be a golf fan, is what I hear from a lot of people. Oh, how's he supposed to know? He's not supposed to treat Scottie Scheffler any different. You're working a golf event, dude. You got to know Scottie Scheffler. Come on. Be for real. It was just one of the most wild things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The picture of him in the jumpsuit cracks me up.
Oh, it's iconic.
The fact that he shot 5 over. So for those who don't know, he gets arrested at 5 in the morning. His tee time's at 9:30. He gets released at 8:30. Makes his tee time. Shoots 5 under. I mean, it's not great, but it's good. At least not great for Valhalla. Yeah, everyone. 21 under was the winning score for this past weekend. Which also leads to my second point. Valhalla's never getting another major. Never. They'll get tournaments. They're not getting another major.
Nope.
21 under and 20 under are your number 1 and 2 scores. That is absurd. See, now, and I'll ask your opinion on this. Would you rather watch that type of golf where you're talking in a round on, like, so they play what? Friday 18 holes, Saturday 18 holes, Sunday 18 holes. That's what? 50 something holes?
Yeah.
54 holes? No. 36 plus 18. 54. All right, I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay. So they play 54 holes of golf. Some majors it's 72. They had 54 holes of golf. 21 under was your winning score. So you're talking a lot of birdies, right? Even more than 21 because then you count bogeys. We'll say they averaged 25 birdies over the weekend. So between 3 rounds, that's 8 birdies per round, roughly. Would you rather that type of golf where it's just birdies, 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 par, birdie, par, bogey, birdie, birdie, or would you rather it is a grind for every birdie, the winning score is 6 under, everything's a fight, you're out of sand traps, you're from the woods, you're draws, dog legs. What type of golf would you rather watch?
I'd rather watch the second one.
I could not agree more. It's a television product, and there's no urgency on hole 11 to get a birdie when you know that the next 7 holes you could easily birdie. There's no urgency. From a viewer standpoint, you're looking for urgency. So whenever 6 under is the winning score, every birdie feels massive. There was not a single massive birdie at Valhalla yesterday. Not a single or Sunday, important birdie, not one. It didn't matter because there was so many other holes that you could just birdie or even eagle on to make up for it. So it just didn't feel big. It didn't feel like a major. Valhalla probably won't get another major, and they shouldn't get another major. That was an absolute unmitigated disaster.
I think the bigger problem is the issue that golf has in general. I mean, it's losing viewership. At a massive rate. It's no lie that like the I would say the majority of your viewers are 65 and over. Like, that's a real problem. Like, you're not connecting with the younger age groups. You're not getting in with those younger demographics. You're not bringing anybody to the sport. Hell, NASCAR's been doing a better job at getting fans back into the sport. Like,
I agree.
There are more people coming back in to watch NASCAR than there are people coming back to watch a major golf PGA event.
And I love NASCAR, but if you just boil it down to face value, would you rather watch cars go in a circle or would you rather watch golf? Most people would say golf. If you put it at face value,
the majority of people would say golf.
If you put it at face value, and I've never seen either of the sports, and you said, do you want to watch cars go in circles or do you want to watch dudes, take a club, hit the ball, try to get in a hole? I'd say, well, I mean, neither of them sound riveting, but I'd probably go with the second choice.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite the opposite. I'd rather 100% watch NASCAR.
Absolutely.
It's one of my favorite things to watch. I don't know. There's an argument. Let's pivot to just how it affects Scottie. Number 1 golfer in the world, but he's never felt like the number 1 golfer because he's not Tiger. He's not Rory. He's not Jordan Spieth in terms of interest and draw.
Because he doesn't have a big personality.
Yes, not a big personality. He looks like, that dad that lives on the corner that golfs every now and then.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he doesn't look like the number 1 golfer. He doesn't act like the number 1 golfer, which is good. I don't want him to be arrogant, but he doesn't have a lot of personality, which is fine. To each his own. If he just wants to focus on golf, he doesn't care about his personality, that's fine. That's his prerogative. But from a sport health standpoint, from his brand health standpoint, I think there's an argument that this is one of the best things that could ever happen to him. I'm dead serious. Like, I am. And here's what I think he should do. Lean into it. I think you should absolutely lean into it. Now, I'm not saying, hey, let's go get arrested at every other major that you go to. But like Tiger, for example, whenever people had made those funny shirts with his mugshot on it,
yep,
and he saw him when he was on the course, he'd give it a laugh and be like, that's funny. Like, he had that personality to him. Like, I think Scottie should, have a little more edge to it. Maybe this will help him find a little bit more edge, because I think it's going to be fascinating to see. Golf's going to have to ride the back of a Scottie Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau to get back to relevance. And if Scottie can help them do that, he can kind of almost be a pioneer of the sport and almost be, immortal in golf size, like a Tiger, a Phil, a Jack Nicklaus, like those names, and he's reaching that level on his course success. Can he kind of back that with the other stuff?
If he can start getting arrested more, he can start really leaning into that Happy Gilmore side of the brand.
Yeah, if we have the orange jumpsuit, if he can get arrested somewhere with like the black and white stripes, we can have a really
do something
complete
cool.
The look.
Hey, it helped Morgan Wallen out. He got arrested once at Kid Rock's bar for throwing a bunch of glasses at a bartender, and then
the chair off the balcony.
Well, between that, he had the incident. And
the
Ring doorbell.
We need to go talk to Michael Strahan.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I didn't like that one.
No. And then the second one was the chair incident. So, look, any press is good press. Lean into it.
Yeah.
Do what you can with it. You're going to make a lot of money. Make your money while you're here. It's golf. It's a dying sport anyway. Make your money while you can and get the hell out of it.
What's our last call again? I almost forgot.
I don't know. You brought it up.
No, I brought up the one we wrote down, the fake words.
No, yeah, but I know. But you brought it up. You said it was like something like dibs.
Yeah, but we said no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, then you said we were going to do something else.
Are you sure?
I promise you.
I don't know. Okay, we're going to pivot then, because I have a separate one in mind. Let's go with, have we done our top favorite sports days?
No.
Okay, because that's the other one I was thinking of. So your top sports, we'll just volley this one back and forth. We won't even go rounds or picks or 1 through 5. Just volley it back and forth, little discussion here. Your top 5 favorite sports day. No, I think we did this one. Did we not?
This one. No.
Okay, top 5 favorite sports days, or just favorite sports days, period. I'll go first. The first weekend of March Madness.
Well, that's a good
It's
one.
unbelievable.
That's a good one.
It's unbelievable. That is one where I've seen people call off work. I remember when we were in high school, we would watch it in the classrooms. You're talking, the strictest teachers are putting it on the board. Like it's an event.
Yeah.
It's an event. And everybody's watching.
Yeah.
I mean,
because everybody wants to see the upset.
women that hold basketballs like they're bombs fill out brackets.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome. I love it. I love how everybody's involved.
It really does hold. It brings everybody together around a TV set.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm going to take the easy one. I'm going to do a Super Bowl.
I knew you were going to do Super Bowl Sunday.
I mean, there's just nothing like it.
That's fair. That's fair.
The amount of food that's consumed, the build up to it. I mean, it's a whole week full of media day and talking and who's going to win. I think the Super Bowl is like one of the most captivating days of the year in sports. I'm also going to stay in the NFL, but I'm going to go clear to the other side of the season. I'm going to go the first Sunday of NFL season because the anticipation, you sit there, first of all, you're strapping in, you're right, you're like, beer, check, buffalo chicken dip, check. Do we have everything we need, right? Yeah. Phones charged, like we're good to go, we're ready to go. We're checking the fantasy team, we're putting bets in. More than likely you have Red Zone up on one TV, Steelers game on another TV.
And the thing I love about that is that you're sitting there knowing you have 17 more plus playoff weeks of that.
Mm-hmm. Or regular season weeks of that.
17 more regular season weeks plus the other playoff weeks of at least watching more football.
Yes.
It's an exhilarating feeling. The anticipation. It's like that first night on vacation.
When you're right at the start.
Yep. First night on vacation, you're like, oh my God, this is great. Okay. And we have 6 more days of this. This is great.
Love that.
Yeah.
I am going to go any sort of playoff hockey atmosphere.
Ooh, it's a good one.
I don't know if you can boil it down to anything more specific than that, but if you're a hockey fan and your team is in the NHL playoffs, there's nothing like getting ready for a game in our nation's capital and the Penguins are going over to play the Washington Capitals in Game 6.
I like that.
And they're down a game. They got to win to bring it back home to Pittsburgh for Game 7. Like, those games are exhilarating. Those are my favorite hockey games to watch. Those are some of my favorite sporting games to watch in general. There's a lot of times where I would pick a Penguins postseason game over an NFL game any day.
I don't hate that. I'll tell you what, we talked about golf more than we have in the entire 4 years that we've been doing this. Let's stay on that theme. Sunday at the Masters. I think it's great. Especially when you used to have Tiger in the red, the traditions there. Yeah. It was great. I used to love Sunday at the Masters. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but it's still a really great sporting event.
Take a 4-hour nap in the middle of it because you get tired, because everybody talks like the Scottie Scheffler on the 4th of all.
I've said it. They should mic him up.
22 feet out.
They should mic him up.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's a good one, though. It's a good one. I'm going to save my last one here. We're going to end it here.
Okay.
Just because I want to kind of put the nail in the coffin. NASCAR Sunday, baby. That's what's up.
That's a good one.
NASCAR
That's a good
Sunday.
one. Especially the big races, your
Yes.
Talladegas, your Daytonas,
Yes.
your Darlingtons.
Absolutely.
All of them, really.
All of them.
Your
They're great.
Bristols, your Richmonds, your Atlantas,
Hell,
your
I'll take,
Vegas.
I'll take a walk. I'll take a Watkins Glen.
That's my least favorite track, and I know a lot of people like
Well,
it.
you're not a good big road course
I
guy.
don't like the road. I like the tradition of the circle or the oval or the whatever.
Yeah, you like
The
the
tri-oval, whatever.
Yeah.
The Brickyard.
Oh, the Brickyard's cool.
Yes.
I love that.
I know. I used to like when Bristol was dirt, but I'll take it. It was still fun this year.
Yeah, it chewed through tires this year.
great.
That was a
It was great.
problem. All right, guys.
Let's get out of here, huh?
Yeah, that's all we got for you today. So we will see you next Thursday. We'll be back. In the meantime, go check out the social medias, the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter. All the links can be found in the description of the episode or the standalone video, however you watched it today. So go check those out. Give us a follow. Give us a subscription. And we will be back next Thursday. That was the issue.